I'm taking you to another word now, science, diplomacy, and global gateways. And although I was asked how DST and NRF could help Indian institution in empowering, but then I thought if I could make it a little broad base and discuss with you how empowering could be done or is being done, irrespective of who is doing it and through what system it is coming. So, first of all, as you know, science diplomacy is composed of two words, science and diplomacy. And diplomacy is a very, very unique word. We should not mix diplomacy with friendship. They are two different words. So diplomacy is basically you are getting your things done. That's diplomacy. Now whether you are placating someone, you are helping someone, or you are getting helped, that is different. But you are going for this. And when we are doing this process through science, it is called science diplomacy. Also, we are taking help of scientific collaborations, knowledge exchange, and evidence-based decision-making among nations to address common problem and to build international partnerships. So friends, how science could make a better society, that is what we are looking for through our processes. So the purpose of science diplomacy, if I could say, is connecting people. You know, a lot of people gets connected when you are working on identical problem, of course, through different perspective. And what Dr. Ram Gopal Rao just said, that if you bring in people from diverse background, working on a single problem, it helps in delivery. So even science diplomacy connects people from different background, different nationalities, and they help in. And then, of course, we are expecting them to address the challenges. And Dr. Rao gave a very good example of COVID, but those challenges could be of various kinds, which could put you together. So one is social issues, and other is health issues, agroclimatic. So challenges could be anything. And we need to connect them, develop solutions, give it to the world back. And of course, science diplomacy should lead to improvement of economy. That is what we are looking for. We are exploring newer markets. And then one of the things is gaining strategic advantages. You might have heard several times that certain technologies are embargoed for some specific purpose, some specific geographies. The reason is if we could enrich ourselves in a particular technology, we could be market leader, we could make whatever use we wish like, and then we could take strategic advantage of these partnerships. And who are the people practicing science diplomacy? That's a very important question. Of course, there are some designated people who work as science attaché or science counselor. I was also one of them at Moscow. But there are people who are working in that. There are officials who are not doing bench level science, but they are doing a lot of policy and planning. They are also science diplomats. And then there are foreign service guys who have no idea about science, but since they get this as a subject, they are also science diplomat. But most important of that is people like you who could make scientific networks. So you are the actual science diplomats. So when you are talking to people from different nationalities, developing your network, you go for a bigger science network. Remember, as I said in the beginning, diplomacy is not friendship. So sometime you have to tell the power of Buddha smile. That is very important. So you need to tell from position of strength how we could take it. But then at the end, you should make sure, and that is how Government of India is looking, science with a human face. So whatever science you are doing should be invested to the society, and outcome of the science should be taken care of in the science. And for the same purpose, United Nations have brought in several goals, and we are trying to address them through science and science diplomacy. So I'll just list some of them. For example, food for all. Now, most of the countries around the world are going through two processes: industrialization and urbanization. And this is happening at the cost of agricultural land and agriculture human resources. So now the time has come when science could play a lot of role, like improving yield per hectare, making our crop more nutritious, ensuring food is safe for a longer period, because currently India's post-harvest losses are close to 30%, which we need to arrest. And so we need to have better packaging. So a lot of technologies are play. Even in the field, for example, most of the time Indian agricultural fields are irrigated, what we call by flooding method. Like whatever water is available, just pour it. But now we are looking for sensor-based precision agriculture. We are going for vertical farming. So a lot of scope for technology in ensuring couple of sustainable goals, food for everyone. Similarly, water. Water, as we say, the 2/3 of the earth is water. But when we are talking about clean water or drinkable water or fresh water, it's very limited, only 3%. And so there are a lot of initiatives how we could keep our water intact. So there are challenges and also some social missions. So like Government of India has got two missions. One is Jal Jeevan mission, so that everyone should get drinkable water. And on the research side, Department of Science and Technology led that program, Water Technology Initiative. So idea is water should be everywhere. When we are talking about water, we must remember different part of India. Some part are riverine. Some part are on hard rocks. I still remember an anecdote which I read in the class 6 book of NCERT. And it started with a poser. Have you heard anyone dying of thirst in a state like Rajasthan or Gujarat? No. Because they plan their water. Who cries? People who are living in rain-fed areas, and the moment there is lesser rain, they cry foul. Because they have not managed their water. Today we are sitting in city of Hyderabad, which has a river Musi, and we can say, how are we managing our water? Nothing more to say. So, lot of efforts are required and lot of technologies to make water much better water, how to arrest water pollutions before they enter into our main water bodies. So we are looking for biological approaches, chemical approaches for that purpose. Healthcare. India is home to 5-star hospitals, and we are attracting a lot of medical tourists from Americas, from Europe, who find our hospital much cheaper as compared to European or American prices. But our commoners can't reach them. For us, they are quite expensive. So we are looking for a lot of affordable solutions, and a lot of investment is being done. And in fact, a lot of argument on generic medicines, which have reduced the cost of medicines in a big way. And we are looking to develop newer solutions in that region. Energy is another concern, and this is a picture, if you see a little carefully, it has so many types of energies, like thermal one, solar one, wind ones, But we are looking for every energy solutions. And these days, especially after COP meeting in Dubai last year, we are trying to reduce our dependency on carbon fuel. So a lot of electric vehicles are there, and we are trying to develop better energy storages and generation. So a lot of research is being done in that sector. Environment is another challenge. Some part of our country are virtually unlivable because of bad quality of air and water. In fact, life on earth and life in water is also under crisis. Because the way concrete jungle are increasing, we are not caring for anything. And the way we are going for new exploration from the ocean is also putting in a lot of challenges. So just to start how we are doing science diplomacy in public interest, we have addressed several pandemics. Now, why you will say so many pandemics I have listed here? Because they were all handled by mankind. And they were all handled not by single country, but by a group of countries, by developing suitable answers to various challenges which we have received in terms of health. Of course, the first thing we started was with vaccine diplomacy way back, and we started in terms of polios, and that is how vaccine diplomacy came into being and helped. And polio vaccine, India could also produce and eradicate polio. So you can imagine that a single thing could lead to eradication of a particular disease, in this case polio, in a period of about 20 to 30 years. How we could take various progressions of things. And then during COVID time, we supplied COVID vaccine to a large number of countries, especially those countries who could not afford expensive vaccines by Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. So we took these missions and take it. We are a country of festivals, and a lot of crowd comes on several occasions, and these days you will find that number of accidents have reduced thanks to the technologies which we are using. So even for such purposes, technologies are being used in better planning, controlling, and taking. Even the Green Revolution which India saw has its roots in Mexico and from Rockefeller Foundations, and how we could produce and make India self-sustaining in a time to come. And when it comes to marketing Indian technology, again science diplomacy has helped, as India's first supercomputer, which we had produced through CDEC, now sits in more than 40 countries. So that is also a part of science diplomacy, how we are taking it to different countries. And science diplomacy, like any other subject, is also addressing gender. So we are trying to understand how gender balance is being maintained in different institutions in select countries, and trying to improve conditions for India. And India has launched a special program, Gender Advancement for Transforming Institution in India. Of course, science diplomacy depends a lot on the newer technologies. And newer technologies, as you all know, is not available to all countries simultaneously. Some countries will take lead. For example, be it navigations, drone, communication, he just mentioned, Internet of Things, energy efficient building, 3D printing, or let us say digital technology like AI, blockchains, biometrics, AR, VR, drones. You know, there are several technologies. And this is not a complete list, because tomorrow some more technologies will come into play. And because one particular country will take lead, others will follow, and there would be a lot of trade-off. And that is where science diplomacy will make its role very, very important. So what we are looking for is that science diplomacy should talk about welfare of people, how to enhance quality, how to accelerate economic growth, and how to do social progress by common approaches. And we are looking for mutual benefit for all partners in terms of complementary research, time, utilization, existing capabilities, and also sharing best practices. And we would like to facilitate nations to become self-reliant and build their own capacity for sustainable growth. So type of science diplomacy, 3 major tools we are using. Science in diplomacy, like how we could utilize scientific expertise to support diplomatic activities such as negotiations and policy making. Diplomacy for science, utilizing diplomatic actions to facilitate scientific collaboration. For example, you may recall, for a long our nuclear program got halted, and then we went for 1, 2, 3 dialogue. That is the good example for this thing. And then science for diplomacy. We are using science to build trust, foster relationship. Now, these days, if we want to build our relationship with any country, so earlier we used to have 2 or 3 tools like culture, sports, business. Today, science is also equally important. Now, science diplomacy is as sensitive as sensex. So anything happens, it would influence the diplomacy part. And the first one is the geopolitical issues. So currently, as you know, that because of several military conflicts going on, a lot of countries have taken positions. And this includes that you can deny cooperation with a particular country, or so it leads to trust erosion. Issues are being raised on national securities. And there is the second issue in science diplomacy is communication gap between researchers and policymakers. For example, you come from a particular institute, you have an interest, but policymakers are not very excited about your interest. And that is where, even though you have built up a partnership, you cannot take it forward. Ensuring inclusivity and equality, that is another aspect which we need to take care of. And a lot of technological changes are happening, and that is happening too fast. If you are using 5-year-old technology, like see your own mobile phone, how things are changing. You are changing your phone roughly every 2nd year or 3rd year because of new technology input in the device. So we need to see how to sustain. And then most thing is ethical implications. We need to look for those kind of things. Research funding and logistics is another challenge to science diplomacy. So many times, like if you are into an agreement, one government would be much faster than another government in providing you financial support. But on the other hand, other issues like visas and travel could be a challenge in a given setup. Now, coming to empowering of the Indian institutions, how Indian institutions could be empowered through science diplomacy. One, of course, Dr. Rao mentioned in the beginning, how we could bring in more and more Indian institutions. So one of the example is this QS ranking, which is just released. And we have got quite a good number of Indian institutions in this list. This shows how we are improving our research environment. In fact, there is a draft policy which was submitted to the cabinet. And one of the chapters is on how we can do research much better. So it is devoted on ease of doing research, which have 6 points, like reduce paperwork, release money on time, civility and mutual respect, providing mentorship, hiring people who care about their work, and feedback for the progress. So we are constantly working on this, and in recent past, there have been some developments on ease of doing research. Governments have put a lot of new stuff and trying to see how some of the bottlenecks could be eased out. Of course, government is also seeking suggestions what more can be done. And one of the results government feels is continuous marching on Global Innovation Index, and we are now number 39. If we see our position in last 7-8 years, it has consistently improved. Dr. Rao just mentioned it is mainly because of IT evolutions, and if we could put little more effort in deep techs, then we could rise much faster and much better. So what we need to do to improve that, one is of course focusing on research output, international collaborations, faculty development, global visibility, and also we need to make strategic engagements with our own alumni and Indian diasporas. We need to market our technology. You know, one of the limitation is we are looking everything from Europe and America. We should also remember the 2 more continents or 3 more continents, Asia, South America and Africa, which are a good market for Indian technologies. And we need to prepare human resources for global South. There are several scientific departments. I need not to tell you in detail about them. And each one of them is engaged in international relationship and promoting the cause of science diplomacy. And how they are doing it, we are mapping strengths and weaknesses of various partners, trying to understand what is they expect from us and what is that we could expect from them. So we continuously map, and that is how we are developing and managing our international cooperations. We go for diplomatic negotiations and then coordinate, implement and monitor. So we are making our program work in that directions. So what Department of Science and Technology has chartered its own objective is, one, when we are going for international cooperation, we will not create something very new, or in fact we would rather augment our own missions which requires support. So wherever Government of India has invested money in national programs, that is what we would look for. We would look for global competitiveness and address global challenges. We will put a lot of efforts in enabling ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurships, technology development, connecting innovation model to international markets, creation of world-class facilities. I'm so happy to tell you, even in Hyderabad, we have one such center, Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy, which has come out of international collaborations. Promote international relationship through soft power of science and technology. Participate in mega science projects. Negotiate and conclude agreements, interventions. And we are doing it through several routes: bilateral cooperations, which is with country to country; multilateral cooperations, which is based on political entities. Political entities, I mean, there are some political platforms like European Union, BRICS, ASEAN. So these are not scientific platforms. Regional platform like SAARC, BIMSTEC, IPSA, and then there are thematic platforms like devoted to a subject, International Solar Alliance, Mission Innovations. We are having a lot of mega science projects in various parts of the globe where we are participating, attracting best of the global talents to India. And how we are doing is, first is we are providing support for networking. So networking could be done in different way through workshops, seminars, symposia. And I was telling someone this morning, formal sessions are only for information. It is the informal session like lunch, dinner, or tea breaks where you can further take best out of this networking. Vegetation fellowships and studentship, lectures by eminent scientists, and fielding young researchers for meeting with peers. So this is how we are supporting networking, providing support for projects, mobility, advanced schools, and participation in mega science projects, enabling R&D clusters. And we are also looking for virtual network center. Virtual network center means we are giving one broad question, one big questions, which we are dividing into several sub-questions. Each sub-question is handled by one institution. So together, they could answer a bigger question. So multi-institutional R&D projects, and we are also supporting pre-commercial research and innovation projects. There are several ways one could collaborate. One is when two individuals are seeking complementary knowledge and skill sets, or they divide a problem into several stakeholders and each stakeholder has shared responsibilities, increase exposure to each other's environment, gained access to equipment. For example, you are collaborating with another institution, you get exposed to the equipment they have got, and they get exposure to the equipment you have got. And then, of course, it results into skill development, how we are doing it. On the other hand, when institutions or ministries ask you, they are focusing on research benefits or business benefit. Sometimes it could be because of diplomacy or even push factor by the government. For example, when I was heading the international cooperation, I used to get a lot of requests for collaboration with America and Europe, Australia, Japan, Israel, Korea. But with other countries, I had to push, especially for Africa, especially for Asian countries, or for South American countries. I had to push that you need to work with them also. International partnership, we are primarily working on three aspects. When we are working with developed countries, we are talking about technology synergy. There we are looking for parity base. So parity, equality, reciprocity is the pillar. So we are working on co-funding and co-creation. Now, when it means co-funding, it's not only the finance, but also the intellectual resources which we are putting in. So both sides would be contributing, and whatever comes out would be shared by both sides. When we are talking about countries which are not so advanced, which has a lot of things to gain from us, we are talking countries in Africa, Asia, or South America, we are talking about diplomacy. So technology diplomacy. And technology development, we are looking for product-oriented research, trying to attract industries of two countries or participating member countries, how they could do it. So this is a map India is currently having collaboration with. So if you could see that we are virtually active in all parts of the world, and there are several multilateral and regional platforms, and also mega science projects. We are participating in number of them. Now, coming to technology synergy, where our inputs are all. So we have identified, so country in green are having multiple partnership on both sides. So it's not only one department of Government of India and another department of partner country, but multiple agencies on both sides are collaborating. So you will get a lot of calls from this country. On the other hand, country mentioned in blue, we are having one call in a year. Now, my suggestion to you is never ever wait for a call for proposal, because call for proposals are normally open for a couple of months. And that is not good enough time to prepare a new project. So you should start the moment you have identified a partner. You could check with the funding agencies what are the provision of the program we have got with a particular country, and they will help you what are the program guidelines and how you can plan it, and then you could develop. With technology diplomacy, we are having this ASEAN initiative, Africa initiative, where we are talking about twinning, training, technology transfers. A lot of things are being done. Similarly, for our neighborhood, we have a very special program. We are trying to bring in fellows from there. And also, for our ACT East program, we have a lot of engagements. So here, most of the expenditure is by Government of India, and we are trying to attract researchers from these countries at various levels to come and work in India. And also, we are expecting Indian companies to go and market their technologies in this world. Then, when we are looking for product-oriented cooperations, we are doing with several developed countries. And here, idea is that research be focused on development of a particular product. We are also into technology entrepreneurship and innovations. So currently we are having 3 partners. Now, just to give you one example, few example, not one example, few example. With Australia, there is only one agency with whom we are working, but we are running two kind of program. One is joint R&D project and one is grant challenge. So each year, both government would identify what is the area where they should put grant challenge. And then we invite research proposal in several themes. On the other hand, when we are talking about UK, we have multiple science partners. And here, we have multiple science partners. And each agency, we have a different format of cooperations, but it also allows you different kind of activities that you can pursue with these stakeholders. Now, coming to UKRI. UKRI is association of several councils within UK. And these councils together come and help us in developing a bilateral program. Now, coming to some of the latest things, like we did with the US. So, with US, we signed something what we call emerging and critical technologies. So, it was a new program which we had initiated, and if you see the kind of technologies which we had agreed under this cooperation, they are artificial intelligence, defense industrial cooperation, so all defense technology we are going to talk about in innovation ecosystems, semiconductors, biotechnology and biomedical technologies, human space flight, and communication, both 5G and 6G. So it was just to give you a broad idea how various cooperation platform could be for bilateral partnerships. Now, similarly, we are talking about India-Africa bilateral engagement, so a lot of things are there, and we are trying to help and develop there several centers of research excellence, and we are giving a lot of research grants also to that purpose. Now, there are several programs which provide support even at a student level for doing PhD and giving them exposure outside. So I have mentioned here those programs like US-India Education Foundation, Indo-German Center Industrial Fellowships. US, as the name suggests, it goes to US, Indo-German, and Max Planck takes to Germany, Newton Fund takes to UK, Raman Chapak gives for France. So our student could go there and work. Company like Google, they also support a research student for their visit to Google companies on a specific program. There are a lot of agencies in these countries which are helping in taking your research for presentation to international scientific seminars. So each agencies have different rules. Of course, this list is not complete, just suggestive. Idea is that our researchers should be given more and more exposures in time to come. There are a lot of research fellowships which is coming from international agencies available to Indian researchers. And these are in different horizon. So Marie Curie Fellowship from Europe, Fulbright from Germany, Humboldt from Germany, Fulbright from USIAF, Arabian Fellowship, French Fellowship, Japanese Fellowship, European Mathematics Fellowship, Austria. So a lot of agencies are providing such support to Indian researchers. And even Indian organizations, along with some foreign organizations, are also providing support, like ICMR provides short-term, long-term visits. SERB, which is now not there, they used to have a program called SIRE. Institute France also provides short-term fellowships, USIAF and Erasmus funding, and then Indo-German Center provide small immediate needs grants. So these are international fellowship one could look for. And then there are international projects where India could participate. So this includes Human Frontier Program. Now, Human Frontier Program does not mean it's only a biology program. Anyone who, even a physicist or a mechanical engineer who is working on a problem that could influence human activity could participate. Global Advanced Fellowships, even company like IBM, they run challenges. So a lot of opportunities are available. There are some gender-based programs also. So we would like to encourage women researchers, and both national and international programs are there for their participations. A lot of other supports are available. For example, Lindor Nobel Laureate meeting, Frontier of Science, Frontier of Engineering meetings, Young Scientist meeting of BRICS or Shanghai Cooperation Organizations, or short exposure visit by various agencies are also there. Space also is being used as a tool of science diplomacy. I hope all of you are aware that India is launching satellites of so many countries from here, and it has given India a huge strength in terms of scientific diplomacy. Ministry of External Affairs is also running a program, ITEC, and you could invite students for short courses in your institutions through this program. There are several innovation platforms. For example, one with ASEAN countries, where we have divided into 3 parts: social innovation delivered through National Innovation Foundation, research innovation through NRDC, product innovation through FICCI, BRICS Innovation Partnership, Industrial R&D program, as I mentioned a little ago, we are running with Technology Development Board. And then we have 2 very special programs, India-Ethiopia Innovation Program and India-Rwanda. With some countries, we have created dedicated funds which needs to be used with Israel, Australia, Hungary, Portuguese, and ASEAN countries. India is also sponsoring prizes. So we are running prize for BRICS Young Innovators, prize for Ramanujam, which is done through ICTP, and then Grassroots Innovation Prize for the ASEAN countries. Then we have got several delivery partners, Indo-French Center, Indo-US Forum, Indo-German Center, and Technology Development Board. We had large number of multilateral programs, and you might have heard about some of them. So a lot of research opportunities, several thematic grouping India is participating. So there are a lot of opportunity for Indian scientists to participate, and we have participating in several mega projects, and 2 of them are going to be housed in India. So LIGO would be in Maharashtra, Hingoli, and we are still working out the ideal place for neutrino observatory in this country. Then to attract best of the global talents, we have got several programs. Vajra is for global best scientists. Vaibhav is to attract best of Indian diaspora. Spark is to connect with top 500 QS rank universities, and Gyan is to bring established researchers for delivering lectures in Indian institutions. ANRF has also started its initiatives. For example, they are coming with early career research grants, where they are giving flexibility to researchers to work in partnership with any country the fellow feels like. Even advanced research grant, which is right now open, has a provision for international collaboration with a partner of your choice. Inclusivity research grant, also from ANRF, brings in support for international cooperation. So friends, idea is that we need to enhance our research and development, increased output, quality. I think Dr. Rao also put a lot of stress on quality, foster collaboration, invest in critical research infrastructure. This is where we are lacking currently, and we require a lot of efforts. Even incentivizing researchers. This is another area where we need to work. Networking is very important. Admission to UG and PG courses for international students. Joint research program, IITs have taken lead. Bombay and Delhi started it. Campuses of Indian institution abroad, again IIT has taken lead, but other need to follow it. International Research and Training Group, a program DST has started with Germany, international faculty, investment in sophisticated infrastructure. But most important, what I feel is each institution should create a niche area for itself. And institution be known by a particular area, where also institutions require a lot of policy support, like in terms of regulatory framework, funding ecosystem, alignment with the government schemes. That institution has to do it. So I'm running out of time. So basically, when we are talking about bilateral collaboration, we need to act on proactive basis. So far, what developed country used to do, they will come to us after doing adequate research that they would like to work in this particular area and this particular institutions. We need to study more about their thing. We need to look for newer approach for the emerging technologies. We need to maintain equality and reciprocity. And when we are working with developing countries, we need to do a lot of goodwill work. Lot of potential is there in South-South cooperation. And I would invite you to look for those things, sharing your, addressing their challenges, helping them in developing curriculum or in institutions, and market Indian technology solutions. Approach to multilateral, of course, is to be friendship and address bigger challenges, mega facilities. So possible approaches, what I suggest is harnessing and maximizing potential of technology innovations, focus on application to meet sustainable development goal, how to improve economy, building capacities, investing in next generation training, ensuring access to information, strengthening scientific basis of decision making, informing the public. Friends, science diplomacy may be considered as a soft power to address societal challenges. It could shape a better world tomorrow, and we should speak same language, which can weave cultures together and build trust, irrespective of political animosity between the governments. And it can also be a hard power arsenal. Instead of stimulating scientific connectivity, science can be targeted by sanctions. Right now, some countries are facing this challenge. Friend, if we could make good use of science diplomacy, we could go for a win-win situation for all stakeholders in a partnership.